to say loudly how nice it is outside, but I'm self-conscious and I know that there's somebody who's gonna hear me yell and say, dude, the weather is so nice. Alright, so this video is gonna be a little different. I mean, well, I'm starting the video at Chipotle. That's pretty normal, but most of the video is not going to be riding. Most of it's going to be me not riding with the bike. What I'm going to do is, because I think I mentioned this, I don't know if I did, I'm riding to Colorado again on this motorcycle, and to do that I need to do a little tiny conversion from Street Fighter to touring bike, and it has some things I'm going to put on it, so I'm going to do that. And I thought, you know what, I may as well just record while I'm doing it, aside from the discomfort of doing all that with the helmet on. Like, I can do it, and I want you to see, because it's just a neat, dumb thing that I like about my motorcycle, is I can use it around town to rip, or in this case be stuck behind somebody, or go on a long ride. So I'm going in like freaking 3 days, so it is time. I'm gonna convert it. I say convert, that's like being generous and ostentatious. It's not really converting, it's just taking stuff off and sticking stuff on to make it more better for touring. But anyway, back to the freaking weather. Was it 70? Yes. Oh my gosh, dude. It hasn't been 70 since months ago. I'm excited. Once again, I must be quiet or else people might hear me say, dude, it's a noise. I just checked the weather. So I'm going to be riding Friday from September 20. Let's try it in English. I'm going to ride out Friday morning, September 24th. I'll be in Colorado Springs-ish, the 25th, and the 26th I'm going to ride back. And I'm taking my brother with me. He has never done a touring ride before. So the Finally Friday next week will be me while I'm out there. So you'll get to see like some scenery and see my brother on his bike and what we're doing. But what I'm doing today is just putting the stuff on the motorcycle, taking the stuff off. It's time to break the frick away, sucker! So I normally ride with plugs in all the time. But since I'm just going up the street and down, I was like, I'm not gonna put plugs in, I'm not gonna listen to music, I wanna record and talk anyway. So normally I have plugs in. On the rare occasion I ride this without them, for however long or however short, I don't have them in, and wow, this bike sounds awesome. It's also especially loud, which is how you guys hear it all the time. You guys don't have plugs in the GoPro when you listen, so it sounds a little bit different to me, and it sounds nice. Oh, man, that's why I don't like parking on the strip. It's a little slippery. I think it's a good habit, but on a motorcycle, I just generally try to avoid touching any of the paint on the road because there's less traction. And one of these days, man, like I've had my slip scares. I've had slip scares on those, and I don't know. I think you guys, if you ride, you try to avoid them too. But I usually stop right, so like the center tire, where the concrete meets the line, that's the actual line for me where I stop. But this time I failed, and I was like up here, and I was adjusting. I was like, this is slipping around. Like, oh, that's wide. You go here, it's like, oh, that's more better. Hey, guess what I saw the other day? I saw a freaking GT350R up on my home street. I was like, wow. And by the way, I don't know if I mentioned this or if you care, but I sold mine a little while ago, finally. So I do not have my Mustang anymore, for the record. I know I said I was going to, but for the record, I do not own it anymore. I sold it. So anyway, the moral of that story was I just like never see them, and I just happened to see one near my home. That wasn't mine. So that was pretty interesting. Anyway, I thought earlier I didn't finish. I checked the weather for the weekend, the trip in 3 days. The high is 80. And the low is, was it like 45? It's very low, but the high is going to be perfect between here in Colorado. 3 days, 80 is the high. That's perfect, man. I cannot wait. When you plan trips like this, you're usually just at the mercy and the randomness. Like, you got to hope for good RNG with the weather. But it looks like, I hope I'm not jinxing it. It looks like it's going to be perfect. Anyway, welcome to my shop. It is called a parking lot. It is expansive, lots of room to work. It's great. This is my storage unit. I keep all my bikes, parts, and helmets and stuff in there. I'm gonna go in there and grab a tub of motorcycle parts and wheel that out here, and then using the bag on my back, use the wrench or two to change it. Not a complicated conversion, but I just decided I wanted to show you, so let me go grab that. Bike is so freaking cool, man. It's kind of a shame that I can't like ride to. I'm a little pretentious, self-conscious about how it looks. It looks great. It looks better this way in Street Fighter mode than it does in touring mode, but it works better in touring mode. Whatever, you'll see. This is why the cart's so important. You can just go through the aisles like this. Yeah. behold my stuff. That's a perfect place for that quote. This is my man cave. I actually don't know if this is going to stay in the video. I wasn't planning to record in here, but like, screw, I don't care. It's exactly what you would imagine. It's a storage unit with all my stuff. And aside from the little things I gotta do like this, let's see. Cables, it goes in there. And then I need SD cards, which is going to be in one of those two. I like to imagine this is on rails, which is not so like a library. Although I actually don't need that. I can reach that high, but I can't reach the third one. So let's see if it's in here. Nope. All right. Yeah, it's in here. So normally, yeah, that's exactly what I want. Normally when I travel like on a motorcycle road trip, I take my laptop because it's small, and that way I can take footage off of my memory cards while I'm riding. I like to record the whole way like a dash cam, but I don't plan on using the footage. I like doing that, but I don't want to take my laptop this time. I just want to ride. So instead of taking a laptop so I can keep dumping footage off of it, the other obvious solution is different cards. So I'll use these for like ones for recording and like dash cam or whatever and whatever. So I need this, and then the thing I need most is this one. All right. I have people out here sharing my garage. I don't like sharing. I want to do it in such an order so that you can see some differences. I'm going to do my least favorite thing first. For that I need this with a Torx 45 and hardware. Also I need, that's in here, these. Yes. Yeah. Man, I'm so glad. I was going to do this yesterday. It was like 85 and humid, and I was like, you know, if I just wait till tomorrow when it's 70, I'll enjoy being out and wearing a helmet on my head for a long while. Way more, and I'm really glad I waited. All right, so these are the passenger pegs, which I take off because it looks way better. So I'll put them on so that a passenger could ride, and so I can mount the luggage hardware, which you will see. Anyway, yeah, that's what this whole video is going to be. It's just me out here, and gosh, I hope I can fit my fat helmet head underneath this. Okay. Ka-chow. I can't see. Head's too fat. There we go. Ka-chow. I realize my bike is really dirty right now, but also, some of you may or may not realize, cleaning it right now would be absolutely fruitless because I'm about to go on a very long ride, like 1,500 to 2,000 miles, depending on how I ride when I'm there. And then it's going to get really dirty then, so I'll clean it when I get back. And we'll just earn its dirt in the meantime. Fun little story. So I rode this to Colorado 2 months ago by myself. What happened? I took it to... Did I make a video? Yes, I think I mentioned it. I'll try to keep it brief, but 200 miles on my way there, I realized the cords on my rear tire was showing, and I was like, oh crap. Well, I'm in the middle of nowhere. Ain't nobody out here gonna have a shop, or at least the tires. I have to make it there without blowing up, and I did. I made it. And then I went there in the morning and got it fixed in a few hours, or replaced, I should say. And when I was there just happened to be a guy there, a customer, getting his same year Super Duke in service, and that's just cool because you don't see many of these. Anyway, so interrupting my story, not that it matters. Rear pegs are on. Doesn't look much different. But what is the point of rear pegs for a passenger if there's no rear seat? Well, it's because if you had a rear seat, it would be useful. So this is a sexy hardtail cover, but for the purpose of a trip, you need a regular rear seat. So put it on like this. I don't want to mess that up. Ka-chow. All right, so what was I needed to point out? Oh yeah, so this is why I did that, because of the luggage, and I will show that in a minute, but I want to get to the front now. All right, this is my favorite thing because it's so easy. Bar end mirror, loosen it, ka-chow. That's it. That is freaking it. You put it in there and you tighten it. You set the rotation, you tighten it, you're done. Otherwise, they come out just like that. Now, I don't have to. I could just use these on the trip, but the original stock mirrors have better visibility, and I have them. You know, I still own them, so why not just use those? So when I go on a trip, I take these off, and I grab the originals, And then these just screw in because I left the original mounts here like this. Now hopefully these nuts are adjusted correctly still, because they do tend to move on their own. I can do one at a time. So that looks pretty cool, by the way, if it's just stubby down. And speaking of stubby down, these are not stock, those cages. So if you were to take those off and that off, you can make this bike look pretty tiny. But anyway, you gotta compromise. I gotta be able to see stuff. All right, here we go, check it out. Correct, ka-chow, that's it. All right, here we go. Please stop on 100 grand. Ka-chow. Yes, exactly. Perfect, that's it. They're already adjusted. See, it's already starting to change. Okay, now, that is disgusting. Just like the bike earned its dirt, this thing earned its bugs. Way more useful than you think if you're gonna be in the wind for a long time. Like even like an hour on the highway, I used to do these hour-long, 2 hour back trips with this bike. Surprisingly useful. I've done it enough times to know that a windshield makes a difference. So if you're doing a long trip, this will wear down or take down your fatigue. Because if you're on a bike like this and you're just in the wind, I mean, man, if you've ever done a long ride on a motorcycle, you know that it's just more work on your body. Anyway, so these points are part of this windshield kit. I put these mounting hardware in here, and that just stays on the bike because you can't even really tell that it's there. I think it looks fine. So then whenever I want, you just take the 4 screws and you stick this mamma jamma on there for the convenience of more comfortable riding. It's so easy. Even Walterific can do it. They should put that on their product listing. This helmet's now really fat and I'm having a hard time seeing over. I don't even know if you can see what I'm looking at. I'm just trying to get to that rubber washer on the back side. There we go. Normally I'd put this in my teeth, but I have a helmet on, so I'll just put it there. Ka-chow. I'm already done with my tools. Look at that. See, the front end's just getting taller now. Okay, quick modification. These look awesome. These are lenses that go on my headlights to make them look more dark. Dual lock tape. Really easy to take on and take off. But for a trip like this, I leave them off for the simple reason that these are not good to have on after dark. They really kind of diminish the output of the headlight. And the off chance that I'm riding early or late, I don't want to have to worry about taking these off and storing them somewhere. These are really just aesthetic. I'm going to do it a little bit aesthetic. Kind of like the mirrors. Like these work better, but these look better. So I'll just use what works better. So when I go on a trip, these pop off and they go into this box. Almost freaking done. It's just a luggage. So this is a luggage kit they actually make for this bike, which is kind of weird because it's super naked. But like now, if you want to go touring with it, you can. Now these are the really neat, expensive ones. As you can see here, these are the mounting points hardware. I actually had these custom coded because they're normally silver and I'm stupid. I like my stuff colored. So these go here. I leave them on the bike. You probably didn't know those are aftermarket. Still by my KTM. And then this piece of hardware goes on for the third mounting point. It goes onto your rear pegs. So you need the rear pegs to make these mount properly. You can see there's 3 mounting points and 3 mounting points. These are kind of hard to get on correctly, especially if you're a dumbass and you have the wrong side in your hand. Now, if I was at my home, I wouldn't be putting this on right now, but I gotta get all this stuff home. Okay, it's so possible. It's just hard to see with a fat helmet. That's on. I think this one's gonna go on really easy. Yeah, that one on just fine. Okay, so check that out. Right, there's that. Now I think I did this backwards. Yeah, I did it backwards. I should have done this first. So here's the tail bag. I'm not sure this is specific to this bike, but it works. So I could have had the original tail cover, but I don't want this like leather being abrasive with that. So better to have this. And that's 4 tie downs, which I need to do properly. Yeah, I was supposed to do the tail bag first, but I wanted you to see the side bags on there, so even though I wasn't supposed to. I need them off so I can tie these in the right place, or the place that I like them, or they're out of the way of where my butt's going to be, but also so that they're holding on to a really good spot. Ka-chow. All right. This facility is crude, but it should be adequate for freezing Skywalker. Ah, goddamn it. I twisted it wrong. Tie those down. That's about it. All right, so when I ride, I'm going to fold these up nice and neat. I might just do it now. I don't need to, because I'm going to take this home and I'm going to take these bags off the bike, carry them into my room so I can load them up. And then once they're loaded, then I'll bring these loaded bags back out to the bike. So I just want to fold them up right now. I'll just do it like this. I'll do quarters. And then put them up in this loop, and they're pretty. 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 All right, I think that's it. Minus the mess, but look at how much different that is. I mean, it's not like crazy different. It took me like 20 minutes to do all that because I messed up the order. But that is what I take on a tour. Now, I have taken, this is a Super Duke R, I've taken a Super Adventure S, which is this engine, and the touring version of this bike, and that is much better for touring. But oddly enough, for whatever reason, for me, my body, this is more comfortable on my back, which is the thing that's most messed up on my body. So anyway, this is what I do. I want to show you this luggage really quick. So these side bags have these what do you call those, elastic lanyards for holding in halves. So what I usually do with this luggage is the side luggage, once they're loaded, this is stuff I don't need to get to while I'm riding. So I'll put like clothes in one and then toiletries in the other. This one I usually have, let me get around this thing. This is the one I get in and out of while I'm stopped. So you can expand this and make it taller. So I usually put like my shades and receipts in here. And then in here I have like chain lube. My other visor fits right inside of here. And this would be like the battery pack. And this is like, and the medicine is in here. So everything that I need to get to while I'm stopped. Sunscreen, everything is in here. So do this. And man, yeah. Yes, I'm ready to go. Let me get this out of here. Yes. Ready to go on a freaking trip. Yes. Go to your home. All right. Yes. Minus the money it takes to get these things, namely the windshield kit and the luggage kit, putting on the original mirrors and stuff. Minus the cost of those things, it's pretty simple. Took like 20 minutes, and that is worth doing for a trip. By the way, not like I'm an expert, but if you're planning on doing a long ride, and you can decide what long means, I say more than 4 hours. Colorado for me is 8 driving hours. Sorry, I'm gonna be out of breath for a while. Driving hours means literally the time it takes to be operating the vehicle to get there. It's my definition. Road hours is how long it's going to practically take you. So while it's 8 driving hours, it's going to take probably 11 road hours to get there. If you're going to go on a long ride, highly recommend, at the very least, simple thing, if at all possible, take the weight off of your body. So instead of wearing a backpack, tie it to the bike or something, because your body's already going to be exhausted just holding on and doing all this stuff for hours. Wearing a really heavy helmet or wearing a backpack, bad idea. Lighter helmet, the better. Easiest thing you can do, strap your backpack or something to your tail. Like that's just a simple thing people I don't think of. Just do that, it'll help you out. Another tip, if you're gonna be doing a long ride, a good idea to wear ear protection, because you're gonna be having a lot of wind noise. Over time, that's gonna give you an earache. I always wear plugs with this bike, especially because it's just so loud. But if you're on a trip, wear some kind of ear protection. Also will help you out. Another little tip is use sunscreen like on your nose and underneath your eyes, because it can still beat down that part of your face through your visor over time. Simple little thing, help you be less uncomfortable. You should constantly lube your chain, like I mentioned on bring chain lube when I go on a trip. Lube it like every 100 miles if you can, or at least every other stop would be good. Just keep it well lubricated. Another tip, always check your tires before you go on a long trip. That's one of my own rules that I didn't follow, because I was so sure my rear tire was fine, and maybe it was fine, but it wasn't after a few hundred miles, and I got a little lucky. I could have exploded when I was out there last time. But check your tire condition. Also, your tire pressure should be good. Now, it's kind of easy to inflate on the way out, but whenever you have a bike, because it's so small, take a $1 to $2 tire pressure gauge, keep it somewhere on your bike or on your person. Super easy thing to do. On a motorcycle, assuming, these are my rules for myself, I'm just going to share with you. On a motorcycle, assuming you don't have like a touring bike that carries a spare gas canister, never drive your tank near empty. You shouldn't be below a quarter. You don't want to be driving on reserve gas ever, because if you get stranded on this bike, it's hard to get gas like it would be in a car. Quarter tank is a good rule. This thing can go 140 miles. At 100 miles, I go, it is time to get gas, or I'm planning to get gas by 100. Better to stop too much than to be forced to stop for a long time with no gas for once. Yeah, it looks less cool with all that crap on it, but boy, is it nice. I'm also fortunate enough to have touring gear, so it makes the ride a little bit better too. I got like the right kind of gear and ventilation and layers depending on how cold it gets. Like I mentioned, it's gonna be like 45 degrees in the morning, so I'm gonna have an extra layer underneath, and then it's gonna get up to 80, so I'm gonna take the layers out and open up the vents, and it'll be nice. For a trip, I mean, depending on how hardcore you're gonna get, I'm not being very hardcore. It'd be a good idea to have some kind of rain protection or account for rain if possible. So I have like a layer of windbreaker layer for my gear that I can wear if it starts to rain. I also have covers for these bags. You may not be so luxurious, but good to plan for rain. And if it doesn't take up too much room, prepare for cold or different temperatures as well. Layers is the name of the game, so I happen to have a nice compact heat layer I can store with me without taking up too much extra room. All right, there might be more rules, but that's not what this video is for. That's so weird because like my brain is just used to it enough. I see the mirrors, I don't feel anything here, and I feel the bag up against my butt, and I'm like, I'm ready to go on a road trip. I am mentally prepared. Another little tip, if you're gonna go on a long trip, a good piece of advice, good to have a little rechargeable battery bank, like a USB battery bank, in case, you know, like I have power off the bike for the phone for the map, but like last time it got corroded. I got stuck in the rain and it got corroded and I couldn't get power anymore, so I ran it out of the battery pack in one of my pouches, and I was able to keep using my map. So it's just a good idea to keep a battery bank with you also. Whatever, this isn't Walter Tech Tips. This is just a weird video of me getting this bike ready for my trip next week. When I do it finally Friday, it'll be out of Colorado. I hope. Last time I went, I messed up the recording, so I hope I won't this time. But all right, you guys will see me next time. I hope you enjoyed. Appreciate you, and you'll see me later. Bye.